There we go.
All right. Hey, everyone at home, and all of you here in our room at Palm Place.
And they sit in the way back.
They sit as far away so they can't hear you. Echoes, it's great. So, guys, welcome to our weekly training today at 10 a.m. Every Tuesday at 10 here in Palm Place. For the second Tuesday of every month, we do our power meeting. So today we have Heather Holiday. She's zooming in, so I know a lot more people are on Zoom right now. We also record these. And so Heather's going to be covering squeeze pages, landing pages. If you don't know what those are, that's fine. She's going to teach you all about it. And I'm just going to promote one thing real quick, and then she's going to take over the screen and kind of jump into everything. So just a reminder. So for instance, for today, when I was like, okay, what is the Zoom link? All I did is I went to REMAXPalmTeam.com, which you see here on this homepage. You guys should be seeing the screen. I went to events right here. And then first event is today's. So I saw this and I just clicked the Zoom link. So just a reminder to leverage our agent hub. All you gotta do is go to events. The links are right there to jump in because it can get confusing. We have different Zoom links for Heather's trainings than we do our own, or Palm Place, for instance, when we do our recordings for our power meetings. And then there's also other things in here. So just a reminder to click those links to access this point, and you can always add them to your calendar. All you gotta do is hit add to calendar, and you have access to Google, Yahoo, Outlook, iCalendar. Very simple. So all that being said, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. I'm gonna stop talking, and Heather, I'm gonna let you take over and teach us all about squeeze pages and landing pages.
All right, gonna take it over, and I'm kind of right here in the same as today's all about the squeeze pages, landing pages. Why would we use them? And on your website, and let me make sure. Let me see. We'll use Mark's as an example. So we've already kind of pre-set up the landing pages, and we're going to go over where to find the squeeze pages, different graphics you can be using, all that fun stuff, because we have a ton of stuff. On your websites, we already have on the office level, and it should be on your level, you're going to see the e-guide drop down. And if you don't have that, make sure, I'm going to show you where you can, click to get that complimentary. We can make changes to your website, all that fun stuff right here in your Max Tech tile, which is also inside of your hub. There's all sorts of goodies. We have all of the trainings that we do are going to be down here, all the upcoming classes. So these are the ones that we've already recorded. They just automatically will add in there once we get done and I upload them. I also have a ton of other videos. These are going to be shorter, answering a lot of the same questions I get all the time. So they're a lot shorter. You just load more, and it could just be, little teeny things. I try to keep them under 10 minutes because our attention span is pretty small. So instead of like a long hour-long class, these are just focused on really certain aspects of the kvCORE system, whether it be the Core Present, your Google Analytics, just something short to be able to get to the point, record me doing something. This is going to be basically all, I work with a lot of different agents, and I see in the groups the same kind of questions asked all the time. That's when I'll either create a blog, I do a quick video, I'm a visual. So if I see someone else do it, then I'll go ahead and add that in there. We also try to add that into your weekly newsletter, just kind of like a tip of the week of what we may have. And let me pull over Mark's website real quick. So on your office, you should already see like your listings, home value, your agent. That's just going to automatically pull in information from the system. We also have info. We have area, links, pages, all that fun stuff that's inside of the resources. Here are e-guides. So these are what we call landing pages, a little different than a squeeze page. So I'm just going to open these up real quick so you can kind of see what these look like. These are generating leads. A landing page, according to kvCORE, is basically a page someone lands on. It's a gateway to information. So you give me this, I'll give you this. And in this case, it's going to be like a buyer's guide. So you give me your email address, you can click download buyer's guide, and it's a PDF branded to the office, just a buyer's guide. The same with the home staging guide, as well as the seller guide. All of these, once somebody lands on this, it's going to generate a lead for you. They will be noted inside of your CRM. with buyer's guide, seller's guide, staging guide. So these are already pre-built on your website. You can be sharing these, whatever you may want. You could just do a screenshot, share it to social, all of that fun stuff. A squeeze page is a little different. That is, and if I'm going to come back over here just to show you, we already have a ton pre-built for you. So when you're on this Max Tech page, you're going to see Agent Advanced Resources. We haven't really got into this because this is definitely more advanced. And now that you've had the system for almost 2 months, I think. So now you're ready for this. So we have a ton of different, this is from different classes that I may have done, just any resources, Canva, template links for headers, all that kind of good stuff. But right here is your agent's kvCORE squeeze page links. So when I click on this, it is going to have a bunch of pre-built squeeze pages for you. Why would you use a squeeze page? I can go to my website, do a search, and share the link if I wanted to. So I can come over here, featured areas, we'll come over to Inglewood. I could just share this page right here. Yes, absolutely, you could. You could do a search on your site. You could go to your listings. You could share anything on your website. And if you are kind of set up as a generic lead, it won't prompt for that registration. You could share links from your website. The only reason I would personally use the squeeze pages versus doing searches on my website is because anybody who clicks on these links are going to be labeled with a hashtag. This is going to be crucial, maybe not so much right now, but as you build your pipeline of people inside your system, we know just from when we went over the listing playbook, how easy it is to send a mass email announcing any new listing or just any newsletters in general. You can send it to anybody with a hashtag. That's kind of their label, their folder, whatnot. So say you're sharing Punta Gorda listings, maybe golf, pool, whatnot. They're labeled like this. And if you get a new listing, say a pool home in this city, when you go to that listing playbook, when you're sending that agent announcement or send to your matching, that next step was that we went over, I think that was in the first session we did, is basically I can send this listing announcement to everybody in my system with any of the Punta Gorda tags. So by having your leads basically labeled from day one, it's going to save you a lot of time, say 6 months to a year from now. It is so nice when everybody in your dashboard is labeled with a city or an area, or even using those text codes, anything like that. The more we can label them and organize them, the easier it's going to be for us to be able to correspond and follow up and all of that fun stuff. So that is why I personally use the squeeze pages. So if we go to, I think I'm on this page, like your office, right? So we have, if you look at this, we have all of these different, so we have 54 different links that you can be using. That's over a year of content. If you do, I like to do kind of like a feature Friday or, listing of the week or whatever it may be. You could use any of these links and you'll see this generic one is kind of information. So here's agent instructions. When you click from Max Tech right here, the advanced resources, it's going to take you over here to a lot of resources, but here's this. When you open this, the first thing you're going to do, we want to make all of these links yours. So I go file, I want to make a copy. So I make a copy. I'm going to go ahead and just name this Mark since I have Mark's website up. I'm going to make a copy. So this is going to stay in your Google Drive. You can export it to Excel, whatever it is that you may want. So then it's telling you, okay, so now I come over to my squeeze page template, your domain here. So I'm going to come right over here. I'm going to copy your domain on your website. Don't copy Mark's unless you want to create lead for him. I'm going to come back over here to where's Mark's. I'm going to copy and basically where it says your domain here, I'm going to paste. Make sure that slash isn't in there. So you only have one slash. Now it just hyperlinked it. So now I come over here. I'm going to take where that slash is since I noticed when I pasted it. Boom. I hit enter, it automatically hyperlinks. So now all of these, once you go down and add your domain, now all of these squeeze pages go directly to your website. That's pretty cool. The same thing you already, at the bottom here, we do have the landing pages. We'll be adding in more, maybe relocation guides, all of that. Landing pages are not super fun to build. I'm going to show you how we do all of these. I just try to add in as many as possible. If there are areas or something that you want, feel free to email me and I'll add it to the master sheet so anybody can use it. If you're like, Heather, I don't know how to do what you just did. Can you make it for me? I'll do that for you too. Just send me a quick email. It's literally copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So super easy. Once we have all those, now this link here, these go directly to Mark. They're going to be labeled. Any leads generated from this are labeled. So that way you can easily send mass emails to anybody once you get a new listing in that area, or you want to send anything out for this specific city or area, anything like that. So there's a lot of ways that we can do that. I just like to do it via the squeeze pages. One, they didn't used to save these squeeze pages. So this was what I always did for my office when I have kvCORE, just for the agents to use. They absolutely love it because once they set it up, now they can just go into, you can use Meta Business, pre-schedule out all of these links 3 months ahead of a time. Maybe you want to do it every Friday. I personally use graphics to kind of grab that attention versus the graphic that pulls in with the link, that little thumbnail, especially if I'm going out a couple months ahead of time, I want to use a graphic. So just when you're coming over here, remember from your Max Tech page, advanced resources, Max Tech, I have like your e-guide graphics, header photos for your website. Here are squeeze page graphics. So if you see, I have and we're constantly adding to this as now that we have all of this pre-built, because before with Bouge, we could only do a couple things. So now we're adding in all of these additional, the golf communities, pool home, we could do land. So we're just constantly building up on this, but we do have all of these different graphics for each of the cities, anything like that. We also have generic. So these do not have any cities. Here's kind of like a look at what the templates may look like. So if I come over here to template, these do not have the cities. You don't have to worry about any of that. You have the market report, the home worth, sellers page, all of that. So these are kind of generic. If you use Canva and want the templates for these, I'm working on adding that Canva template link. So that way you can edit, add your own branding, do whatever you want. So we have a ton of different call to action. I like to use this, especially if you're using Instagram. Make sure that, and let me go over to an Instagram. Let me see if I can pull up a Linktree agent example, because you should also be able to add in all those landing pages into, if you're using like Linktree or something like that. Here's an example. So you have website, blog, featured listings, sellers page, the relocation guide, staging guide, seller guide, buyer's e-guide, all of these links. If you're using Linktree for your Instagram or anything like that, make sure you have all of these landing pages that, especially the areas that you work, you can create squeeze pages for subdivisions, all of that as well. So make sure, especially the areas that you really focus on, we can build those out. But having these are really nice. So this is what I'm working on. So this is just something where we can have those featured, the relocation guides. It's a great way to build your pipeline for people looking to move. It's a great opener for you to be able to reach out. Are you moving to this area? Are you selling your home where you are? Would you like me to connect you with another REMAX agent? A lot of ways that we can be able to reach out, but it's all about building our pipeline, and all of this is free. It's just a little bit of time. It literally may take you 10 minutes a week, pre-schedule some of these out. It's a lot of fun. We've pre-built a lot of these for you. So we're going to go in and build those out. Have I already lost everybody? Like, what did you do, Heather? I don't understand.
So on the, I know I saw a question in chat from, I think it was Jessica, just wondering if you can do them on Facebook, which you covered on social media, any social media really, you can leverage these on. The question,
Absolutely.
you're gonna show us how to build them. I mean, how is it, when you build these, our search criteria, I think they're integrated with what the MLS has, right? So
Yep.
we can get pretty specific, because I'm thinking leveraging, if I live in a neighborhood, a specific neighborhood, let's say I live in Inglewood Isles, and I can say, okay, I'm going to create a squeeze page for homes in Inglewood Isles and target people in that area, right?
Absolutely. So I'm
Okay.
going to come over here to your lead engine when you're on your dashboard. And this is where you have all of your different tools. So you see build landing page, build squeeze page, the call and texture, all of those fun things. So I'm going to come right here to build squeeze page. And this is, we have the multi-property. So this is where I can, it's basically doing a full search. I could do the single property. That's if I have a listing or anything like that. Just remember the listing playbooks also do all of that. I do like building those inside of the listing playbook because everything is tagged. They already pre-build squeeze pages, landing pages for your new listings or anybody's listing. So I typically use the multi-property. So what was, so in these, let's see if we can do the subdivisions are a little different. What was the name of that area, that subdivision?
Let's do Inglewood Isles.
And it'll populate. So Inglewood Isles. So sometimes you'll see the neighborhood, it may have like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Just know you'll have to go in and pick all of the phases to be able to get all of those results. Okay, so I have Inglewood Isles. Also know a lot of times if there is not an active listing, it may not populate. So it isn't necessarily that it doesn't exist, or it could be just make sure to look at the tax records and how it's really named, because that's how we have to pull those up. So I typically don't, I mean, you could even draw on a map if you have a certain area, maybe known more for the locals, definitely feel free, draw this on a map. You have listing types. I typically don't do any of this, but if you are specifically looking for land, for commercial, for anything like that, for rentals, you could choose the listing type. If I'm doing pool, I will usually do single family, just because pools, I cannot say whether they're private or not, and you're going to get all of the condos will show up because it's they have a community pool. So
Right.
Typically, if I am doing pool, I will do single family, and then I just make it pool homes. So that way people know they're actual homes. So you could do that. You could do style. You have all these different choices. Just remember the results, just like the MLS, the more criteria we add, the more narrow those results come. And right now with inventory being low, it's almost like less is more, because it does look, I was doing active listings because, hot new listings, but right now with inventory being so low, I would see like 1 or 2 listings. It's going to pull in all of the new listings for the last 3 days. And it looks really weird when there's only 3 listings in like Sarasota, like a big area of some sort. It just looks odd. So right now with inventory being so low, you can always look at what all of those are. But then you also, so you have price range. So maybe you want to do a squeeze page for what can you get under 500 in XYZ. So those are always like my number one click throughs when I'm posting those to social, especially if you can find something in a lower price range. So it's not pulling in the $1 million homes or something. It's almost like that immediate kind of call to action, especially if it's on that lower price point of some sort. But the options, these are what I normally use. And I'll zoom this in just a little bit so we can see. So you have just listed, walkable. I don't really use that. I don't use fixer upper, newly built. So I will do that for like new construction. Open houses, not sure. I don't know. For me, I'm like, I don't want to announce where every realtor is going to be. So I never use that. But I mean, some people may want to have a landing page for check out all the open houses in X area of whatnot. Adult 55, you have your green energy, your horse property. So equestrian, if you work a lot of that, maybe you want to have that. a golf course. So that's the golf communities, pool, waterfront, water view, views reduced. And then you have a lot of these other options that you could use. So that way you can choose whichever you want. I usually, I'll have the pool, golf, whatnot, but that's all I have to do. So here is the source. You don't have to put that, but I know I'm just putting FB for Facebook because all of my squeeze pages for the most part are what I'm sharing onto social media. So that way it will have that source. I could do a search inside of my CRM for all the sources for Facebook. So I know the leads that are coming in from social media. This is where I put in the hashtag. So you could just, let's see, Inglewood. And just remember, just like a real hashtag, no spaces. I typically try not to put numbers in front of it. They don't always work well. So if it's like Main Street, maybe Main Street 123, just so it keeps organized. I haven't had any problems, but they say maybe not use numbers in front of it. The Facebook cover photo, if you're not using individual graphics, it needs to know with that link what that thumbnail view needs to look like. And hopefully maybe you know what that is, and I'll show you when we go to post it. But that's just the thumbnail that shows up whenever you're posting a link onto like Facebook. And our options are use recent listings from your agency, use lowest priced. I wouldn't advise that because you'll get the lowest price, listings that the office has. I like to use the highest price listings, even if it's not for my area, it's just going to have a beautiful home. Those seem to get better click-throughs than just a normal house of like a cheap house. You may not get the clientele or the lead quality that you're looking for. You could use random listings from the office. I would not recommend using a photo from a specific listing because once that listing is sold, you're just going to get a question mark. This image doesn't exist, or list image coming soon. So that's also why I use my own custom graphics, the same thing. So here I'm going to use high priced and just know it's finicky. It's going to always, for some reason, I click high priced, it wants to use low, but I just have to make sure that's there. This is telling me the property views allowed before a forced registration. I always leave it at 2. The squeeze page is going to allow me to look at my listing, whatever, or the search results that I'm using. As soon as someone clicks on one of those listings, a forced registration generating the lead, tagging them with whatever hashtag I used is going to be created for me. So I keep the default of 2. And then I come here and I generate link. As you know, on our spreadsheet that we have for you is the long link. And that's because we can edit this URL for you guys to be able to put in yours and it goes to you. For the most part on agents, you're going to just use this short one unless you're running ads. If you're running ads on Facebook, Google, anywhere else, it's going to want this long link because Google, Facebook, they don't allow like the shorted, like a REMAX URL shortener, bit.ly, any of those, just because it's a mask to where it's actually going, and Google wants to know where this website is going so it can index it, and it just gets, whether it gets approved, it probably won't even get approved. So if you're running ads, you'll want this long version, but if you're just putting it out there for social media, you can use this short link. I personally, on an agent level, would use this long link, go into REMAX URL shortener, and then create a more custom. So it's rem.ax/Inglewood Isles. That way it's branded for REMAX. It doesn't look like spam. Now I could even make this a text code by using this URL, like get the hottest listings, whatnot. But I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that and paste it, and it'll go to his website, doing the search for all the properties in that neighborhood. So as you can see, because we have the map as our default, we're going to see the map and all of the listings in that area. So it's pretty cool. It's nice to be able to use that, and especially for areas that you serve, anything like that. But going back here, and it does save now. That's where I've always done my Google spreadsheets, but you can go into history and see all of the squeeze pages you've built. be able to quickly grab, copy link, all of that. And so it looks like, well, I'm not sure if, because I'm on Mark's, if he can see everything, but maybe see if you have all of the history. Those are all of the links that the office has done. So you can do multi-property. Again, you can do it by county, city, zip code, anything, neighborhood, or you can also go to, I don't do the sold multi-property, but if you are working an area, we can, let's see what happens. Let me generate a link for sold for that area. And I haven't done this. Let's see what that looks like. So this is all the sold. So if you are working a true subdivision, you may want to even make this more of a landing page or just save this. You can use it as a squeeze page, especially for anybody, you know, you're working this area. It is nice. Maybe you're doing an open house and you want, you know, you have those people that want all that sold data. It can't hurt. There's so many different ways that we can really try to build our database with this kind of information. So you can do a sold. You can come over here, single property, that'd be for one. I like the seller squeeze. That is where it's a little different. I think I have to do it by city. Let's try if we can do it. Okay, it did. Oh, Inglewood. Okay. There we go. So this, and same thing. So I'm on a seller squeeze. This is going to, it's pretty cool. It'll say the average home, and let me just, and always after you do that, make sure that you select it. So it's on there. I'm going to generate a link. Let's copy. Let's see what happens for this subdivision. These are great when you're posting onto social media, because usually it'll say the average home, and it's live data. So it's every time you post this, if you do it in 2 months, this price may change. It'll say the average home in subdivision, city, whatever area you have chosen is this amount. Get your home estimate report below. It's almost like a teaser, like the average home is selling for this. What is yours worth? So these are great. I usually don't always use graphics. I will do more of a screenshot. So that way it's going to be more, just because I love, you know, what it's saying the average home is worth, or definitely use that in the text that you may be using. So again, you would grab that link, go over, you know, schedule it over to social, and just know you can use Meta Business to pre-schedule Instagram and Facebook posts 3 months out. So that's what I would recommend doing. It's free. It's already posting. It may not, you know, you could use Hootsuite or something if you're looking to put it out to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, but it is nice. You could use Facebook Meta. If you're mostly on Facebook and Instagram, that is what I would recommend for any agent, because obviously it is using their platform to schedule to their social, and that's going to get better views than using a third-party source, as they always say. But these are great. So that's for a seller's report. Let's try to get those seller leads. And now a market report, same thing. So let's see if we can do files. Oh, interesting. So I didn't see the two different, so on the market report, it's only allowing one. So the market report is going to be, and we'll see if it makes me create, it's almost like an instant forced registration. So let's see what happens when we do this one. So it does, it's an immediate information. So now I'm going to go ahead and generate a lead. And do you like this? So you put in an email address, and then it wants them to put their cell phone number for their password. How clever is that? So let's see, let's go ahead, and I'm going to use an email that I haven't used, or I can continue with Facebook, but I'm pretty sure I'm connected to a couple people on there. So automatically forced registration, and now it's loading up all this data. It's pulling in all the information for anything that's sold. You have the map, average home price, sold price, giving you all this information. These are I absolutely love these market reports. And it wants them to subscribe to get monthly reports, which obviously I've already got a lead generated. Now you have like full service for sellers if they're considering selling, just a lot of different ways. And now they could go, and I'm going to go ahead and type in Inglewood, because now that I've unlocked this, I can go ahead and get information for other areas, stuff like that. So I can just go through, and of course you're going to get all the information of everything that they're doing. So the remarket reports are pretty cool. But again, these are great ways to generate leads just on all of this information, pre-scheduling out. You're not having to pay for them. And they're going to be labeled and all of that fun stuff. So now you want to go see what the craziness of the landing pages are. Woo woo. So landing pages, again, we go to lead engine, landing page. Let me close out some of these. Let me close out. And okay, so I kind of have cheat sheets. So I'm just going to move these over. And I would recommend the same. I would say if you have a great idea for a landing page, to schedule that Zoom with me, and that is when you're on your hub, and you come over somewhere, there's a Zoom with me, click that, schedule a Zoom. In the little notes section, say you want to do landing page about this. That way I can try to see if I can find other examples and we can build it together, because the landing pages are not super fun. This is our example that we have, and we have to be very delicate. I would say build it out before we add in all the information. But a landing page, again, is a gateway to information. So the gateway is, what are we going to do? Maybe this is going to be, let's see, Inglewood. Let's go ahead and do Inglewood, right? Inglewood. And think of a call to action. ChatGPT is awesome for building landing pages, all this kind of fun stuff. So you see here, this is a dark theme. And on my examples, they're light, right? So this is where you have the dark theme, or you can change it to a light theme. So you can change the look and feel. This right here is typically going to be on lead generation, but maybe you have a video that you want to focus on a certain subdivision or area or anything like that. You could have this be a video view and just change that URL of what video it is. All it has to do is be on probably YouTube or Vimeo. Or we have video plus lead. We have all sorts of different lead types. Content hijack, never done. I have no idea what that means. But again, it's, you know, here's the address capture. So what do you need that you're unlocking? So I typically always use this as lead generation. The hashtag, you'll always want to put this in. This is how they're going to be labeled. So for the buyer guide, they're labeled buyer guide. For staging guide, seller guide, seller guide. It's basically when a lead is generated, they're going to be labeled. You can easily see those straight from your dashboard. You'll see all the hashtags that they're labeled with. It's going to help you keep them organized. So if I were to make this buyer guide, I just put the hashtag I want to be associated, submit button text. I'm not sure if you guys can see this because it's so short. Submit button text. That is this text. The default is C list now. So maybe, you know, it's going to be download X now. So download something now, or view homes now. The URL for all the guides, obviously I have uploaded PDFs and I have the link. That's definitely a little more advanced, but you could have it go to a squeeze page. Maybe you want it to go to the search results for one of the squeeze pages we've already built. So maybe it's going to go, and I have this like very zoomed in, but you can do whatever you want. So remember, it's, you give me your email, I'm going to give you this, you unlock something. So this is the URL that they're going to. It could be a squeeze page that you've built. It could be a PDF. It could be something else, another link that you have somewhere else, anywhere you want. Then you want to dictate what kind of buyer, what lead type is this? Is this a buyer, a seller, renter, agent, vendor, or nothing? It just depends on you. If I'm doing a buyer's guide, obviously I'm doing buyers. If it's one of the staging guide or sellers, I'm doing the seller. That's going to prompt which smart campaign is going to be assigned to the specific lead on that. So let me zoom this out just a little bit. The background. They have a lot of interesting things that you could do. Here's like a map. Here's the lady. She's thinking, I think that's lady. We have exterior. Villa, that's probably the only one I really love. You have farmhouse, kitchen, people that are happy, people are thinking. You have golf. So if you're doing golf community homes or anything like that, you could have this be your background. Or you could go in and you could do a custom background. That's definitely a little more advanced, but this is where I just come in I go into the blog. I'm going to add a post, and not really. I'm just going to go and find a graphic that I want. I'm going to, let's see, let me find a photo real quick. So I have a photo. I'm just going to drag and drop that right there because I have my own photo. I want this link right here is what's going to help me. So I save. I'm not publishing it. No, I just wanted that link. Yes, I'm sure. So now when I come back over here to my landing page, it wants the image URL. I paste that, save it. Now I have my own background. That's also how I would upload my PDF. It's a little more advanced. You're going to go into, and I think I have a video, basically you go into schedule a mass email using that advanced editor. You can use the image, drag and drop a PDF to grab that link. That's what it's looking for, is that URL. So I have my own link. Now I come over here. Remember these are our templates. If you don't need these, you have to be very careful because if you accidentally double click on this, it's going to disappear and you can't get it back and you have to start all over. So that's where the not so fun part of all of this is. So be very careful when it comes to, let's see, and around. Oops, forgot I put that on there. So here I may want to use this. I can change the text. I just go into here. Again, you have to be very careful on how, because if I accidentally double click, that entire box just disappeared. I can't get it back. I literally have to start all over. So that's why if you have something very specific that you want to be able to do a landing page with, I would recommend just doing a Zoom with me and we can build it together. We can do some research on what others have done. I use ChatGPT a lot, like 4 bullet points for this guide. And it actually gives me idea on what to write for each of these. So obviously I'm going to double click because now that's gone. So maybe I just want to have those two. I'm good. Now I have everything the way I want. I'm going to go ahead and save. Just know once you've done this, you cannot edit it at all. So that's what it's telling you right here. I can always view it in my history, but this is this. I can grab the link. Now I can create a page, add it to whatever category for a drop down. Now I have that link. We cannot edit it. If you're like, oh, I did a typo, guess what? We get to start all over again. However, it is easier when I use like the buyer guide, seller guide, I can copy paste. It's almost like I use it as a template, making it easier. But there are a lot of great things. So now I can use this. I have it as my guide. I can go into here, a little more advanced. You would go into custom content. I want to add my pages, add a new page. I'm just going to add my URL there, name it whatever I want. And now I can have it as a custom page that's always on my website. A little more advanced, definitely. I would say get with me if you're looking to do something like that. What questions? Bait and switch, yes. Well, I give you this, you give me that. So you are giving hopefully value. I love the relocation guides. That gives a lot of information. If you guys have anything that has all of the county resources, utility information, anything like that, cable, phone, think of all of the things that a new person relocating to your area, it's just you have value. All you need is their email address. It's basically building up your pipeline. Hopefully it's not like you have to spam them or anything like that, but it is just a way to build your pipeline by giving value. A lot of people may have their own buyer seller guide. I know a lot of agents, they actually have, maybe they've done, they use BombBomb and they have, maybe 10 seller video on a drip. This is where you could link that, like sign up for my, 10 seller tip videos, my top 10, seller tips. And you just basically would use that BombBomb that you set up, that whole drip campaign, add it to there, it automatically, starts that first video if you're using a third-party campaign. There's a lot of different ways. Think outside the box when it comes to building those landing pages and all that, the squeeze pages and all of that. It's a great way to build your pipeline and it doesn't cost anything. Of course, you could run ads on all of these as well. Not a bad idea, just thinking a little bit outside the box. What can you give of value to where you're able to build that pipeline for information? And it doesn't have to be, it can be relocation guides, area guides, seller video tips. There's so many different things that you can do to create those landing pages, and then we can add them to your websites. But we already have, the buyer guide, seller guide, and home staging guide, just kind of generic content, but nice little PDF books. And it's just a way of trying to be able to get you guys leads in there and stuff. I've not ever built a hijack page. So if I come over here to lead engine, so if any insight on that, because I always just use lead generation, start building, and the lead type was content hijack. No idea. I have no idea. URL you want, URL they get. I have no idea. It's kind of like, I want this and they want that. I don't know. I've never used it.
I think what it is you advertise something and they clicked on it and then you show them something different and you're like, well, this is what I wanted. So that's why it says, no thanks, take me to what I wanted. So that's the bait and switch part of it. So you're advertising one thing, they click on it, they're going to get something different. You're like, well, that's not what I wanted. And then you have a way to get to it. So that's I think it's how the content hijack is you're marketing one thing and then you're trying to give them something else to see if they want that content instead.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know why I would use that, but I miss, they used to on this actually have examples and basically the click-through rating and results. So that way you could always look at their top landing pages that agents from all over had built. You couldn't copy it, but I could still see it because then I can copy from what they have. So I do miss that they used to have that, but I'm sure on a Google search for agent landing pages, there's a lot of different ideas. I would almost recommend doing that. Just kind of think outside the box on what you could do that's different. When my website was up before I've had websites with REMAX for over 15 years. And now they took them all away, but I had like Max Tech tips and I had all of those kind of tips on my website. And I don't even advertise my REMAX website, but I was still like, all these agents were, filling that out. So that was pretty cool. But just think outside the box. I try to think of something, coming up with something of value to be able to give them, but you could also use like ChatGPT can build all of this stuff for you. So that was, I can show an example because I'm trying to build this for everyone. So I was using an example. Yes, I think the hometown here, yes, and especially right now, because I've seen different buzzes as far as I think July 1st is when they unrelease all that kind of stuff, but absolutely. Anything that could be different, I would say we can brainstorm, build it together. I do like coming up with my own custom content inside of Canva. They even give you, and let me show you, it's, oops.
Well, I'll throw this out to the group, and it's not innovative or creative. It's just not very many people do it. So if they just do it, what I would do is take where you live, go to that map on your squeeze page, draw an area within like a half mile or whatever, and then through through advertising, you can market to a geographical area. You can say I want to reach everybody on social media within a half mile radius, whatever, and you can just say click on this if you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood, something along those lines. Because people do those on mailers. You get a lot of mailers where you get it like these are the properties that recently sold in your neighborhood and everything like that. Obviously, community is much easier, but if you live in an area, you should really be getting in front of your neighbors, both for a mailing campaign, but also through an online social media campaign. And you can actually send stuff where, through social media, that you're targeting within a certain radius of your home. And that's where you should use the squeeze pages. Like click here and sign up for once a month what's selling or in your neighborhood, or what's going on in a contract in your neighborhood, or whatever.
And
Right.
then also on your squeeze page that we have all the templates, we use ChatGPT to give you ideas on the call to action with the links and the graphics or whatnot. So there's a lot of different ones for buyers with the little emojis. Here's some different ideas for sellers. So lots of different ideas that you could do. And then of course we have landing page ideas and text codes ideas. And you could make text codes with these landing pages or links that you already have as well. So there's a lot of really cool things that you can be doing to generate your own leads that don't cost anything. And I mean, of course you could run ads or anything, but it's just a way. For me, I like kind of Feature Friday is we're just going to find different cities, different areas, be able to post different call to action to try to drive traffic back to our website, trying to generate leads within certain areas and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So you can see just different graphics.
This question was, that was the smart numbers training that we did. Jessica, she asked if we already did training on text codes.
I believe, yes, that, when you come over to Max Tech, and right here, smart numbers, campaigns, text codes, and more. So that's when you come over to your lead engine, you see like the landing page, squeeze page, call, and text capture. So I could come over here, add new. Maybe I want to type in Inglewood Isles, and I want, instead of an MLS ID, I'm going to use message. Maybe I want it to go to the squeeze page I set up for get the latest market report. Or da, 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 da. I personally, if I'm going to be doing the text codes, I'm going to take the URL that was created for the squeeze page, that long, ugly URL. I am going to go into REMAX University, and let me see if I can find, and I'm going to go ahead and add smart number. And so I'm going to come over here to, where am I going to? My squeeze pages. And I want to go into my history. So let's mark, start building. I'm going to go over to history. I'm going to come over here. This was for the neighborhood. I'm going to copy that link. That was the market report. So copy the link. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come over to my URL shortener. And I'm going to create a link. I have to scroll over now that they give us QR codes. And that's another thing. Here's that original link. So it's that long craziness. I do like to add a link name. That'll show up when someone clicks on it up here. And now I don't necessarily like this, so I'm going to edit so I can customize it. It is case sensitive, so I would kind of recommend making it all lowercase or something, because if you use upper and lowers, like it has to be exact because it is case sensitive. So save. If I wanted to put this on, I can create a QR code right there. Maybe I am doing a mass, postcard marketing, and I want people to be able to scan for the market report. Boom, it's right there. I can use that on my postcard, snail mail, anything like that to get the market report. So I'm just going to copy this link, come back over here. I'm going to come back over to my text codes. I have my, where's my Inglewood? Let me go to mine, or Mark's, I should say. Let's see. There we go. I'm going to edit it. I started it, but I didn't. Now you see it doesn't look like it's going to take me to a virus or anything like that. It's very specific. This is also what I would use when I'm posting those graphics on social media, because it's not like some weird, crazy URL. It's branded. It shows exactly what it is. It makes it nice. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now I could actually put that on postcards, snail mail. I could put it on any sort of thing, any marketing, any graphics that I put out there onto social media. The smart number is not something that's publicly displayed. It is the system, the numbers, what's working, your database. It's a shared number across all agents. So it's not something you're going to call. It's not something you're going to advertise, but it is something that you can do lead generation for, because only one agent can assign a custom text code to use with that smart number. So that way I can advertise the smart number, text this to the smart number, and the system knows, because I've assigned this to me, that anytime someone texts that, it knows it belongs.
We lost your microphone, Heather, if you can hear us. I think you got muted somehow. I don't know. So
I can't hear her either.
All right.
You're back.
Yeah, I don't know why I had to unplug and unplug my microphone. I guess it didn't want to work. So not sure when did you stop hearing me?
It was talking about basically that the system knows that if you give that smart number and they text that code, it's going to go to you because you created that code and it can only go to you, even though that smart number isn't it.
Right, because the smart number is not publicly displayed. It is something, it's a smart number working your leads on your behalf. It's just a way for it to be able to track. It's not something you're going to be calling. It's not something you would be publicly putting that phone number anywhere without it having a text code of some sort, because that's how the system knows that lead belongs to you, is because you have a text code associated to it. So it's great to be able to use those text codes to generate leads, but don't call that number like, what is this number? Doesn't, why is it going? It's going to go round robin to an agent in the office, because that's what it's intended to do, but we don't have that publicly displayed. So in order for you to use this number, you're going to want to attach like a text code, so that way it knows that belongs to you.
Right.
Nobody else would be able to have the same text codes with the same smart number. It'll just give you an error.
Well, there's a lot here to unpack, so I'm going to make it kind of simple for you. I'm going to challenge everybody to make a squeeze page for their local neighborhood. All right, and then post it on social media or broadcast it through, if you want to boost it through, let's say Facebook, to your neighbors. But at least try that. But have like start to focus on your own neighborhood. You should be mailing within 3 blocks of wherever you live. They should know that you're in real estate and that you're an expert because it's your neighborhood. So you should be sending them mailers. You should be giving them They should be signing up for market reports in your neighborhood. They should be asking information about it. And they should know that if I want to sell in this particular area, I should go to this person. They live here. You know, that's one of the easiest sales. I live in this neighborhood. My goal is to make sure values stay high. So I'm an expert in the area. I'm right around the corner. I know the area very well. And I'm going to, you know, you can trust that my goal is to maximize resale value and also be an expert. So just go on to know how you would do that.
That's more like if you're going into the ads where you do an audience, you put in like an area and do, basically you can do a map, do it by zip code or something like that.
That's going to cost, Jessica, that's going to cost money, that specific part, because you're paying for the ads unless you know everybody in your neighborhood. But you can do a mailer to everybody in your neighborhood and say, scan this QR code or go to this link, and you can do a URL shortener with REMAX to get the market reports or to get the most recent sales.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I'm like, do I do it as an ad or like, because you can't just do it as a regular Facebook post, because then it's not gonna.
They're not going to see it. The only people are going to see a regular Facebook post are people that are either liked your business page or your personal page.
Right, okay.
And then this is like an example of what I had done for, and we use like Every Door Direct, so it can be that full big postcard, but it's again, using the QR code, text home value, that's using the text code. And all of these were for this particular subdivision using squeeze pages. So we have like the market report, the just listed, and, you know, kind of homes for sale, like pool homes, because it was summertime. So you could do sellers. So it's like you can kind of combine all of these different tools into one device. And it is pretty cool to see. Obviously, I mean, this was, I think, when we needed a separate app for the QR codes. Remember that? Like, it wasn't just your camera. It was way pre-COVID. This is probably 10 years ago. But it is interesting. So you have them with the REMAX URL shortener, the QR code, and a text code to see who does what is gaining the most traction, even though they're all going to be kind of labeled. But it is nice to see in your subdivision which tactic actually works best. The links, QR code, or text codes. So those are, it's nice just to kind of, here's all the different options, or you can go to my website. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. And even, you know, I always had my own like custom domain for my subdivision. And that's what I would use, because Google Analytics would tell me, you know, people went to this website, and I could, you know, I love the REMAX URL shortener because you can track the dates. So I know, oh, we got a huge hit on this URL on these dates. And I'm like, oh, that's when I did my postcard mailing or whatnot. So I do like the URL tracking because it will track all of that data and where they're coming from. So I know where my traffic, you know, is it LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram links. I mean, you'd be surprised. Videos. I mean, Pinterest always was pretty far up there, but there's a lot of awesome ways that you can be tracking everything on that REMAX URL shortener. It's awesome. I love it. Love it. But yeah, go do what Mark said. And then next week is kind of open mastermind. I want to know what your struggles are, what your wins are, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever we can cover. Feel free to tag me in a post inside your Facebook office group as well, if there's anything that you want to cover more in depth, because we've kind of gone over a lot of things. We do want to dive deeper into the CRM part, into Core Present. There's definitely a ton of tools. I also signed you guys up. Mark, you might have got an email late last week, because I signed your office up for the listing automation beta. So that is not coming out for regular people until September-ish, but you guys will have access to that before anybody else will be beta testers. So I need to dive into that a little bit. I'm not sure when that actually starts, but I think the email went out last week, but you guys are on there. So we'll be able to have first access to all of the cool tools with that design center, listing automation, all of that stuff that is not going to be released for the mass until mid-September, but we're getting the sneak peek and ability to be beta testers on that product.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
exciting.
Got it.
I haven't even touched that, but I know, I was like, when they sent me an email, I was like, nope, you gotta sign this office up. So, but I think the email would have gone to you, but I haven't gone in there.
I got it.
Okay, good. So you guys will be beta testers, so stay tuned for that. Maybe I will see when that's actually going to start. Maybe it already has, I'm not sure, but I'll look more into that and we can also start playing with that feature. That'll be awesome.
Awesome. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Heather, for your time and showing us where to get this information. If you guys got lost on it, you have a couple options. You can go back and watch the video. You can play around with it. You can come talk to us. And of course, you can always reach out to Heather, email, set up a Zoom or whatever, and walk through it, especially if you have an idea of exactly what you want to do. I do heavily recommend to market your neighborhood. It's the worst thing when you come home and 2 houses down, someone listed a property, and then you're like, hey, I saw you listed a property. Oh, you're in real estate, I had no idea, or whatever. Like that's, you should be capturing your neighborhood. It's a very easy, and I can almost guarantee you, outside of a few other agents in our own company, that more than likely no one is servicing your own neighborhood and doing these things, doing mailers for it, doing social media campaigning, because you should really be focusing. Start with your neighborhood. Like if you live in a community, it's a no-brainer, but instead of focusing on a community somewhere else, focus on your own neighborhood to begin with, start there, and then fine-tune that skill set and then start to expand from there.
Absolutely. So go do that. Let me know if you guys have any problems, and then we will see you same time next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Heather. Take
All right,
care.
bye, guys.
Bye.